There was an announcement a while back that there was going to be a Splinter Cell movie, and I think the gaming community, at least, that loves Splinter Cell, and I'm one of those people, were absolutely curious about a Splinter Cell movie. But more than that, we've always wanted just more continuations of the Splinter Cell franchise in the form of video games, and we haven't seen one since, of course, Splinter Cell Blacklist. Well, in this segment of the show, guys, I want to talk about the Splinter Cell movie, where this movie is possibly at this point in time, because what really came out that was really exciting for most of us was that Tom Hardy was allegedly going to play as Sam Fisher in the Splinter Cell movie, which I think would be a really cool concept. So let's talk about it. In an article, guys, that was written by Paul Tassi of Forbes, Ubisoft finally managed to release their Assassin's Creed movie, but their Splinter Cell movie has been sitting in development hell for quite a while and now. That said, the project still exists, and Collider spoke with producer Basil Iwank about it, and things got a little weird. The strangest part comes when Iwank is asked about the difference between Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell, and if the financials of the former will affect how the latter moves forward. They're separate kind of things. The story of the financial success of Assassin's Creed is yet to be told because we do live in an international world. It's still rolling out. Assassin's Creed had a very specific world to it and a very specific storyline, character, all that stuff. Splinter Cell really is a first-person shooter game, and so the challenge of making Splinter Cell interesting was we didn't have this IP with a very specific backstory. That allowed us to make up our own world and really augment and fill out the characters. I don't think one applies to the other because I don't think our movie will feel like a movie that came out of a video game. I think it'll feel like a badass Tom Hardy action movie, which is what we wanted. Obviously there were a number of things here that are very off about what he's stating here. Number one, guys, before I get back to the article, number one is that Assassin's Creed did not do well. Let's all be real about that. I mean, it was very much so, had a lot of potential to it, let's put it that way. But the way it was executed was so just not at all the way that I was hoping it was going to be portrayed as a movie. I really felt that there was something special in that movie. Like, it could have been a really special movie, but Michael Fassbender, I thought, he's a great actor and such. I just thought that the directing and the editing was so poor for that movie, where they seemed like they were obviously they were showing the animus, and then they were showing things that were happening in that world, and they were going back and forth and cutting to it. It always took you out of the action so much because of them showing you what was happening in the animus. All in all, it was just not a very good film experience. However, I think that Splinter Cell might do a little bit better, but when you look at what they're stating here, and really when I say they, I'm saying Iwank is saying, it kind of leads you to believe maybe they should just leave this alone. Don't make it a movie. Can you just please continue the video games? So a few things here. Splinter Cell is not a first-person shooter. Obviously, that was so weird. That's like the first red flag right there. It's like, dude, it's a third-person shooter, but it's more of a third-person, spy and very much so a stealth action game. Splinter Cell certainly does have a specific story attached to both it and Sam Fisher across its various installments. This very much seems like they just wanted to make a cool action movie with Tom Hardy and are content simply slapping the Splinter Cell Tom Clancy badge on the final product. He's talking about how this is different than Assassin's Creed, but in a weird way, that movie did almost the same thing. Yes, the Assassin's Creed movie had Assassins and Templar and the Animus and Abstergo, but it had no characters from the games, meaning pretty much everyone was invented from scratch using only the base framework of the series as inspiration. And one of the main problems with the film was that for some reason, it reversed the storytelling mechanic of the games. The movie spent almost all its time in the present day while only jumping to the past for 2 to 3 brief action sequences. 100% agree with that. Now, from the looks of the Splinter Cell comments, it seems like that movie is going to get even further away from the games to the point where it really doesn't even care about them at all. Yes, Tom Hardy's character will be named Sam Fisher, and there will be glowing night vision goggles, and he will probably drop down from the ceiling at one point, but everything else will just be turned into whatever action story they want to make. So, look, guys, all in all, I think that it's just a bad idea, in my opinion, for them to make a Splinter Cell movie. Now, where is the Splinter Cell movie? That's what the topic is right now, is where is this movie at this point? Because we could talk about it until we're blue in the face about how we don't think it's a good idea or we think it's a great idea. At the end of the day, let's look at some of the facts. If you go over to Tom Hardy's IMDb page, which, guys, Tom Hardy, an incredible actor, right? I mean, pretty much really felt like he got his first role that just was incredible, and his first breakthrough performance that got him that recognition throughout the world was really Inception in Christopher Nolan's film. But if we go down to his filmography, so he's supposed to be playing Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell, but when you look at his IMDb page, you're going to see that the stuff that he's working on right now is Venom 2, they're in post-production right now, Fonzo, which he's in post-production for, and then War Party, and then Mad Max The Wasteland, which are two movies that were announced. So what this is telling me is I'm not seeing anywhere on there anything about a Splinter Cell, unless they're naming it something completely different, unless like War Party is supposed to be the Splinter Cell, which obviously it's not. Mad Max, well, we all know Mad Max. And Fonzo, he plays Al Capone, so that's not going to be Splinter Cell. And Venom 2, well, we all know what Venom 2 is. So to me, what this tells me is that this is on an indefinite hiatus. It very well might actually have been canceled at some point. We just haven't heard anything about it. So unless they're not moving forward anymore with Tom Hardy, they're moving forward with a different actor or something, which we haven't heard of. This is something that is it's very interesting, and I think it's probably a good thing. Ubisoft probably saw just how poorly the reception and how poorly Assassin's Creed did at as far as from a marketing and a global box office standpoint. They probably just thought, you know what, maybe we should just hold off on making any more movies. Let's focus on the games. And I hope this means that we're going to be getting a Splinter Cell game in the near future. Does this mean, guys, that a Splinter Cell movie would be terrible? Absolutely not. I mean, a Splinter Cell movie might be good. I mean, it's possible, but we've seen so many times, countless times, where video games that are, made into movies, how they just don't really work. And Splinter Cell, after seeing kind of the preview, that being Assassin's Creed, I just think that a Splinter Cell movie might not do very well. Now, the best movie or video game made into a movie, in my opinion, I mean, guys, there's a very short list, but I would say, guys, in my opinion, when they made Warcraft, I thought that Warcraft was better than a lot of the other video game movies I had seen, even though I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was okay, and a lot of people didn't like it, and there's some people who really liked it, but it seems like the video game that are turned into movies are just simply there's a real disconnect with a lot of the fan bases of the video games and people who are moviegoers. All in all, guys, I just don't think that, other than The Witcher, which is a series that they brought on Netflix, I think that's probably the best adaptation of a video game we've seen on the screens, as far as like from a streaming perspective, like a TV perspective, or even, a movie perspective. I feel that maybe doing like a series like that for Assassin's Creed, or a series like that for Splinter Cell, might be the way to go, because we've seen that success of The Witcher. When you do it in a movie format, it's just not that good, guys, for the most part. But at the end of the day, who knows if this is in a limbo state? I think it is at this point. The article was written in 2017. Tom Hardy's IMDb page is pretty much updated immediately when things are announced and such, and we're not seeing anything on here of a Splinter Cell movie. But let me know what you guys think. Would you want to see a Splinter Cell movie? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Splinter Cell content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.